Hey,
Hi. Oh my God.
you did it.
I was so nervous. I was like, I hope I don't mess this up. This is my first time on Instagram
Nice.
live. So,
Cool.
but yeah, we got it together. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm
Oh,
healthy, which I'm grateful for. How are you?
yeah. No, I'm good too. Staying
Good.
healthy, staying in, trying to
Yeah,
follow all the guidelines.
definitely.
So I just also I want to offer my well wishes to you.
Thank
How
you.
has your quarantine experience been so far?
It's had its ups and downs for sure,
Hmm.
like everyone.
Like many of us, yeah.
I am very grateful. I'm trying to practice gratitude. I'm very
Hmm.
grateful that so far my family is healthy. I'm anxious. I have grandparents in nursing homes, and I have a lot of family that are that work in the medical field on the front lines. So I have ups and downs, but I'm
Right.
trying to meditate and exercise and stay busy, but also have
Yeah.
those days where I stay in sweatpants all day and
Yeah, I
have,
know it's nice, right? I'm like,
yeah,
I barely have to put makeup on these days. Like I can be in my
yeah,
sweatpants all day. So that's kind of nice. I'm not gonna lie,
yeah,
I'm enjoying
yeah,
that.
for sure.
So let's just jump into last night's episode because a lot of people are. It looks like a lot of people have questions.
Hmm.
Obviously, we want to know who killed Asher, but I know you're not going to tell us. Um, but can you just talk about now that the final six episodes have kicked off with the first episode,
Yeah.
obviously being yesterday. What are you feeling like now that it's all sort of like the end is sort of nearer?
Yeah, I mean, it's wild because obviously it's been off the air for quite some time,
Right,
but we just finished filming it like the second week of February.
right.
So it's kind of nice that ABC decided to delay these episodes
Hmm.
because it historically the show would have already aired.
Yeah, right.
But with this delay, it's nice because while we finished filming in February, we're now all coming back for like the
Right.
final six episodes. And I don't know if you saw last night, but Amira took over the How to Get With Murder Instagram, and we all
Hmm.
popped on the
Hmm.
live with her.
Hmm.
And especially in times as uncertain as these,
Right.
I think everyone's leaning on their friend circle, and
Hmm.
this
Hmm.
show is
Hmm.
totally, they're my family.
Right.
So it's nice.
Has it hit you yet that it's all coming to an end?
It's weird because I kind of had made that peace with it when we finished filming,
Yeah.
and I was like stealing things from set. I just looked over at a ceramic dog that I stole from the Culliver
Nice.
apartment.
Nice.
I'll show it to you guys in a minute.
Hmm.
But now that it's back on, yeah, it's a little surreal that I kind of have to revisit it because I had said goodbye to Connor.
Right. Right. Right.
Um, but
Yeah.
but it's all good, yeah.
Yeah. It seems very bittersweet.
It is
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, we had a big party that ABC threw us, and we all, had some drinks and danced and said our like teary goodbyes. I
Yeah.
think a weird thing to think about that like people outside of the industry might not consider is that when you do something like this for 6, 7 years with a cast, when it finishes, the reality sinks in that like you may never work with these people again.
Right.
You
Right.
know, it's
Yeah.
it's it's so rare to see cast members that have been on a show for so many years come together and work on something
Right.
else.
Right.
So barring a How to Get Murder like film or
Hmm.
reboot, like it's not very likely that I get to act opposite these people again, and that is very bittersweet for
Right.
sure.
Is that would you say that was what you're gonna miss the most about the
Yeah,
reboot?
absolutely. I mean, the cast and our crew is incredible, and just being able to go to work every day with these people has
Yeah.
been, you know, a treasure for me.
Right. So let's talk about one of the most I felt heartfelt moments of last night's episode
Hmm.
was obviously Connor and Michaela sort of coming together and saying that, hey, like it's both of us or none of us.
Yeah.
um and I thought that was really sweet, especially now that it seems like the original team is broken.
Mm.
Why do you feel like those two decided to go in that decision versus something that versus what Asher decided to do with
Right.
his?
Yeah, I think that, everyone processes trauma and grief differently,
Right.
which may account for Asher's actions. But I, to me, you know, like you said, the group has been fractured, and uh, now Michaela and Connor are the remaining Keating five that, or
Right.
Keating four even,
Yeah.
that are here with us, and they've always had, I think, a very special bond and sort of an unbreakable bond. So
Mm-hmm.
I loved that when we got the script, that's how it ended.
Right.
Because I do think it's a testament to their friendship that they'd be looking out for each other, even though
Mm-hmm.
they don't know that the other is doing the same for them.
Right. Right. Exactly.
But I will say, you know, with these 5 episodes remaining, things are going to go down, and
Yeah.
I think it, you know, it's just there's a lot of instability in the group, and I think especially for Connor, now that Oliver's confessed and has implicated himself, Connor starts to feel very, very guilty that his
Mm-hmm.
husband is now in the middle of
Right.
a murder trial, and that's definitely going to come out in other ways as well.
Yeah, yeah. And now that they sort of have these deals are in place, I mean, I know it's not, we can't say that Michaela and Connor are in the safe zone, or can we say that they are in the safe zone now that they have their deals?
No, I don't think anyone's in the safe zone ever on
Right,
this show.
right, right, right.
Yeah.
um, so I, besides each other and besides Oliver, as it stands right now, who can Connor trust? Like I said, the team seems broken. Everybody kind of seems like
Yeah.
they're working in their own silos of
I mean,
how
I
to.
think to a degree, yeah, Michaela and Oliver, obviously, his parents.
Yeah, his parents. His mom had
But
a moment this last
yeah,
episode. I loved it.
yeah, Cynthia Nix, she's incredible. But
Yeah,
um, yeah, I think that trust is a big theme in the next 5 episodes, and just sort of seeing where your chips fall, because the group, it wasn't really built on trust, right? It was built
mm-hmm.
on in this shared culpability around a murder that one member of the group committed.
Right.
And now that all of this is sort of unraveling, we start to question whether or not these people can really trust each other, and what beyond their shared guilt is holding them together as a group.
Right, right. So we're getting a lot of questions about who
Mm-hmm.
killed Asher, and like I mentioned before, I don't think we want to spoil. I don't think anybody wants to hear spoilers on who
Mm-hmm.
killed Asher, but I want to ask you. Obviously, you guys are wrapped filming. When you found out who killed him, how surprised were you, or did you guess it?
I was very surprised.
Okay.
I was convinced it was one person, and I was very, very far off base.
Wow.
Whenever there's a murder on the show, we would start like betting pools
Mm-hmm,
on
mm-hmm.
who it is, and I don't know if I've ever been right. So
Oh my god. So we're probably gonna be. So we're probably not gonna be able to guess it then.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
um, I want to ask. So the scene where the FBI agent is pulling out all the photos of people that have been deceased. I honestly, a lot of them I had forgotten about. I was like, oh wait, how has this group been able to move on with their lives and carry on their lives, knowing that all these people have died, not sort of under their watch, and some innocent, some guilty people.
Yeah.
How has the
Um,
group been able to move on? How does life go on for them?
I mean, I don't think it has
Mm-hmm.
really. I think that they've all been living with trauma, and it's been coming out in different ways. And um, I think that they all apply themselves in their lives differently to work
Right.
through that trauma. You know, countless times we've seen them throw themselves into law school and their studies and just
Yeah.
focusing on that. But then other times we've seen them drinking heavily, or, you know, they took mushrooms to try and escape reality for
Right.
a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that everyone has their own trauma. And, like, you know, in earlier seasons, we saw Connor sleeping with every single person that had 2 legs.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we saw the fallout from those decisions. And Now that like the matriarch, the boss, is, you know, missing, and things are obviously going to come blow for blow between all of them. I think without the stability of having Annalise at the head of the pack, things really fall apart.
And then I want to touch on Connor and Annalise's relationship, which has been very contentious for a long time. Has he reached his end point with her?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I think he I think he has. And I think that, you know, Oliver has that I mean, Conrad, just incredible acting in this last episode where he says that he thinks Annalise deserves to go down for these things. And I think that that's something that Connor really starts to contemplate towards the end here, is, you know, the reality that this woman is sort of the mastermind and has pitted them against each other and lied and manipulated them over and over again. And where does Connor's agency fall in all of that? And, you know, I don't think it's a black and white thing for him. I think that he starts to feel kind of like what you were talking about, how do they deal with this trauma? And he starts to feel it on an intense level. And we see that sort of play out with his relationship with Michaela and with Oliver, and then obviously definitely with Annalise.
And then it seems like obviously Oliver, out of all of the group has kind of, not Oliver, I'm sorry, Connor, out of everybody has sort of had the heaviest sort of guilt as to what's been happening within the group. What does he feel a sense of responsibility about sort of what's been going on with everybody? And does he feel like he deserves to be punished?
Yeah,
I think everything falls on Annalise.
I think that Connor, like, from the beginning, you know, he was sort of this lone wolf, looking out for himself dude, but over the course of, you know, 6 seasons, we've seen him sort of evolve into a more empathetic person. And even in, you know, opening his heart to Oliver and a man that he loves, like, I never saw that coming at the beginning for Connor. And I think we do start to see him experience and work through a lot more guilt, as he's expressed, you know, throughout these 6 seasons. I think he's always been sort of had these devils inside of him about the crimes that he's been complicit in. So that's definitely